Wheelock Chapter 7 is pretty straightforward. We're just going to learn a new set of endings for nouns. As I mentioned previously, pardon, Latin has 5 declensions of nouns, 5 different ways to make noun endings, whereas English pretty much just has one plus a bunch of irregulars, right? So we just have some nouns go dog, dogs, and then we get weird ones like goose, geese. And you just have to learn the odd ones. Well, Latin has a lot more regularity, but it's spread over 5 different declensions. But this is, so what you see on the screen now is pretty much the exact flashcard that you want to make for the third declension nouns. Masculine and feminine endings of the third declension are the most of them that you see here. The neuter ones are all the same except for the ones in parentheses. So take a look at this. So the endings of the third declension for masculine and feminine nouns, the nominative singular has no particular ending. Now, in some ways, you could say it's an S, but very often the the nominative singular will just kind of have an ending all its own to that noun. But the rest, so you just have to learn that as part of the vocabulary. But the rest of the endings are is in the genitive singular, e in the dative singular, m in the accusative plural, singular, and the ablative singular, a. So is, e, m, e, and that's a short e, and this is a long e. I should maybe make note of that. Keep that. So is, e, m, e, and then in the plural, it is ace, ibis, ace, ibis. So the neuter also will have just its own form in the nominative singular, and then it also has genitive is, e, but then like all neuters, the nominative is always the same as the accusative. So whatever the nominative singular was, that'll also be the form of the accusative singular. Then e, and then in the plural, it has that neuter plural that we already know from the second declension. A is its nominative plural. So a, ibis, a, ibis. So straightforward enough. On page 56, Wheelock gives you some rules for endings that are characteristic of masculine, feminine, and neuter. You can learn those if you like, but what I want to take a look at more than that is just to note how these are going to be listed in vocabulary. So amor means love, the noun love, like love is a beautiful thing. And then it will be listed in the either like this, amor, and then it'll say oris, or they'll spell it all the way out, amor, amoris. So when you learn the vocabulary, this is, now you see in the third declension why this is so important, because some of them are like that. So how do you know what your stem is? Well, you say, oh, well, I just stick my stem on the end of my nominative, and then I keep going with my endings. Well, no, they're not all like that. Look at veritas, which means truth. It's veritas, veritatis, veritati. So this tas ending, you don't just stick the genitive ending on the end of that. It changes a bit in the genitive. And so that's why you have to learn the nominative form and the genitive form. Because the genitive form gives you that stem for the noun that all the rest of the endings are going to be stuck onto. So the stem that you're going to, for veritas, is not veritas, but veritat. Then is, e, m, e, ace, ibis, ace, ibis are going to be added on to that. Likewise, rex, the genitive is regis. So it goes rex, regis, regi, regum, rega, reges, regum, regibus, reges, regibus. So just a different set of endings, but so I can't stress enough though how important it is. You have to put down the nominative and the genitive singular as part of your vocabulary. So you have to learn that for each of these nouns. But that's all there is in this chapter. Just this set of endings, and then a lot of vocabulary, because now we need to pick up a lot of third declension nouns, because they're very important, and we just can't do a lot without them. So you got a lot of those to learn. So make your vocabulary cards. Study this paradigm for the third declension. Study your vocabulary. And then after you've kind of got those under your belt, the translations I want you to work on are numbers 3 and 4 on page 58. And then when you have those completed, get back in and do the next video on the translation exercises, getting the corrections for those.